TINUBU dragged to Lagos courts over missing $2.1 billion, 3.1 trillion naira fuel subsidy money. With just about 2 weeks in office, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has been sued over the quote-unquote failure to probe the allegations that $2.1 billion and 3.1 trillion naira public funds of oil revenues and budgeted as fuel subsidy payments are missing and unaccounted for between 2016 and 2019. Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project (SERAP) filed the lawsuit following what it called grim allegations by the Auditor General of the Federation in the 2016 and 2019 annual reports that the public funds were missing. In the suit filed last Friday at the Federal High Court in Lagos, SERAP is seeking an order of mandamus to direct and compel President Tinubu to promptly probe allegations that $2.1 billion and 3.1 trillion naira public funds are missing and unaccounted for between 2016 and 2019. SERAP is also seeking an order of mandamus to compel President Tinubu to direct the anti-corruption agencies to promptly probe fuel subsidy payments made by governments since the return of democracy in 1999, name and shame and prosecute suspected perpetrators, and to recover any proceeds of crime. SERAP is also seeking an order of mandamus to direct and compel Tinubu to use any recovered proceeds of crime as palliatives to address the impacts of subsidy removal on poor Nigerians and to put in place mechanisms for the transparency and accountability in the oil sector. In the suit, SERAP is arguing that the allegations that $2.1 billion and 3.1 trillion naira of public funds are missing and unaccounted amount to a fundamental breach of national anti-corruption laws and the country's international obligations, including under the UN Convention Against Corruption, to which Nigeria is a state party. SERAP is also arguing that the Tinubu government has constitutional and international legal obligations to get to the bottom of these allegations and ensure accountability for these serious crimes against the Nigerian people. According to SERAP, directing and compelling President Tinubu to promptly probe, name and shame and bring to justice the perpetrators and to recover any missing public funds would advance the rights of Nigerians to restitution, compensation and guarantee of non-repetition. The suit was filed on behalf of SERAP by its lawyers Kolawole Oluwadare, Ms. Adelanke Aremo, Ms. Valentina Adegoke, and Ayomide Johnson. No date has been fixed for its hearing. According to the audited reports between 2016 and 2019 by the Auditor General of the Federation, the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation (NNPC) failed to remit 663 billion naira, 896,567,227.56 into the Federation account. The Auditor General fears that the money may be missing. The NNPC also reportedly failed to account for the allocation of crude oil refineries in 2019. 107.24 million barrels of crude oil were lifted as domestic crude without any documents. The Auditor General fears that crude may have valued at 55.89 billion naira may have been diverted. The NNPC in 2019 also failed to remit 1.955 billion naira and 55.158 billion of generated revenues into the Federation accounts, contrary to Section 162(1) of the Nigerian Constitution 1999 as amended. The Auditor General fears that the money may have been diverted. The NNPC also failed to account for 4,572,844,962.25 billion naira of domestic gas receipts, thereby reducing the distributable revenue in the Federation account. The NNPC also failed to account for 22,930 litres of PMS pumped from refineries and valued at 7,056,137,180 naira. The NNPC also illegally classified 239,000 barrels of crude oil valued at 5,498,045,220 as crude oil losses. The Department of Petroleum Resources in 2019 also reportedly failed to remit 1,278,364,595.49 in revenue to the Federation account. The money was deducted by the NNPC from the oil and gas royalty assessed by the DPR. The DPR in 2019 also deducted 19,840,081.29 naira as stamp duty payments from the contractors and consultants, but the DPR instantly paid back the money to the contractors and consultants instead of remitting it to the treasury. Subsidy records show that 443,940,559,974.8 naira was also paid as a total subsidy for 2016, but the money was not budgeted for. Well, what are your thoughts about this? Make sure to leave them in the comments down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and make sure to share this with